Okay, so today I'm doing some image manipulation, photo editing over here, and this is art making. And I went to this local art exhibition today, and there was a new exhibition there, and it was really interesting. And uh, I'm gonna show you at some point the subject matter I took these photographs out of, but they are in themselves pretty interesting, but I feel that the works over here are going to be a bit more minimalistic. You see this picture, for example, over here. I think it's a pretty great picture on its own, you know. If we go to the direction something like this, or maybe like this, you see, it's pretty interesting on its own. It's the picture was taken out of this what do you call those emergency blankets, you know, that for example the mountain climbers on Mount Everest and the firefighters have. And the picture was taken out of that thing, and I illuminated the picture with my LED RGB LED, like this photographic type of light. It's pretty cutting edge art, you know. I bet that nobody else has probably thought about doing abstract art using that kind of technique before. It's just one swing of the camera and that's it. You know. Yeah, there was quite a lot pre-work before that picture came about, but it's an interesting layer to some other art piece maybe. But yeah, it's pretty great on its own. I like that. So let's try to layer it. Look at this, and then look at this. Let's bring this forward and adjust the color. Some more black in there. You see how these layers don't kind of play into each other very well. They seem kind of separated. That's no good, but it's pretty great. I have this picture over here. This was taken on my old camera. I had both of my cameras with me, and I don't know if that was good or bad, but this was taken with my old camera. And with my old camera, you know, what comes out of it is a bit more low fidelity maybe, but you can do some things that you can do with the new camera, with the old camera, you know. If we, for example, decrease the white over here and the highlights like this, and maybe even the shadows like this, or maybe like that, and put the brightness down and add some exposure like that, we get this like nice whitish type of layer. We can use in some other picture maybe. As I said, I feel that the pictures that I got out of this exhibition are going to be a bit more minimalistic. I felt that the art pieces, they kind of lacked those central focal points, and it was more of an installation. You could say, and it lacked maybe that kind of those basic things that should be in art, in the separate art pieces. And yeah, if you go and you analyze it like a bit deeper, every art piece should be great on its own. But then again, sometimes look, for example, this one over here. It's pretty interesting. You could use it as some background somewhere or something, but on its own as an art piece, it kind of looks pretty. I would say kind of bland. You know, there's not enough of that kind of. There's not enough that kind of. I would say variety in the picture. You know, there's nothing in it. You know, so it's kind of like a picture out of space, maybe, you know, this, yeah. So when we take these colors and we start to change them, you see how with some color combinations we get this kind of artifacting, and that's not so good, but we can maybe use that to our advantage. Like that. It's good, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take probably this. I'm gonna just see if we could use this layer a bit more over here. Make it a bit more exaggerated and get it to show a bit. Oh man, I want to look at that, you know. But let's just save that. That looks pretty digital, you know. But let's look at this. Yeah, yeah. Like man, that's good. Man, that's good. Like that's freaking amazing. I dig that a lot, but there's a problem in the picture, you know. I dig that picture a lot, but there's one problem in it, and that's, you know, that it should be cropped a bit. Let's delete these other layers right now, and let's just think about this layer. Yeah, let's just if we crop it like that, let's take even more out of it, you know, like that. Okay, it's not so. It might be actually a bit better if it was cropped something like there. No. Like man, it's so good on its own, but there's just something that is missing in it. There has to be some shape over here. You see how it feels kind of unbalanced, you know. We crop it from here and we get something pretty good, but it's still unbalanced, you know. Something like that. It's not perfect, but it's a great piece. It's fine. So let's continue. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at this, and we have this kind of a picture over here, and it looks pretty painterly, you know. It looks pretty painterly. I like that. I like that on its own. It has the same kind of problem that we have a little bit more space over here than here, but it's pretty great on its own already. But yeah, it's too simplistic, you know. Yeah, it's art, but it's just too simplistic. There's not enough, you know, variety of shapes and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it looks painterly, yeah. Okay, so let's take this. Let's take this and let's try to bring it forward. Okay, that's really... we are in the wrong picture. It doesn't work. I dig that in some ways, but at the same time it's kind of it looks it the first thing I think about over here when I look at it is that it looks too busy, you know, that there's that not that kind of okay. I'm starting to think that this might be a better direction for this picture. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, let's go back. And then now let's try to layer these things on top of each other. You look at that. You look at that. This is cutting edge. Okay, so now let's look at this piece on its own. And let's try to make it work. You look at that. Man. It's too busy, you know, it just looks too busy, but here what was yeah, look this. Yeah. I dig it in some ways, you know, but it just looks too busy, you know, like there's too much happening in it. What about that? That white, just, you know, there's not enough variety of shade in the white part over here. You see that? That's bad, but otherwise it would have been better, you know, in terms of the colors. Okay, I think that's good. I think that's good. It's an experiment. It's the first one out of this exhibition. So let's take it into an abstract. Oh man. Yeah. Now we are on to something. Man, that's good. Like I dig that one. Some more green into it, like yeah. That also matches kind of my artist name. Truth Detective. It has the same kind of theme in it. That's a bit too bland. That's perfect. It's perfect. It's a this picture it creates a feeling, you know. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let's keep taking it a little bit further. I like that one also, but it's unbalanced. Let's look at it black and white. Nah. Okay, let's add another layer to it. Okay. Okay, so here's a layer like this. It's a very simplistic thing on its own. It's a very simplistic thing on its own. You could maybe recognize the original subject matter out of that, but from that piece, you know, I just showed you, no way. No way, you never recognized. Yeah, that looks pretty interesting, you know. It's just too low quality picture, you know. So let's overlay these on top of each other like that. Create this kind of matching shape in there. Okay, and then you look at this. You look at this and let's take it to a direction something like I think I like that one pretty great. You know, that's really interesting, but the green has to match, you know, that it has to look more painterly, not like light. Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good. A bit more saturation and change. I think I like the green one over here pretty great. I think that's great. A bit more exposure. This black, and we're gonna change the temperature like that. And a little bit of blur in it. No, this, that. Yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Let's keep going. Okay, so we have this picture over here. It's a really type of minimalistic thing, but I think it's great. It's going to work, and it's going to make this picture interesting. Oh no, like maybe like this. I'm going to take this and just like that, and then we're going to overlay this and here onto here. You see that? Like that. I have no idea why, but it kind of matches, you know. I have no idea how that happened, but yeah. Okay, and now you see that shape. I want to make them match to each other so they don't look like separate things. And I'm thinking about like what color should it be. I like this one over here, kind of, but at the same time I don't know. This kind of unifies it. So let's go with that first. And then we'll change the color like this. For example, like that. That's really stylish thing, but I feel that this shape might be actually a little bit too far on the right. That I should have when I was in that layer. No, now I can return, but this should be a little bit more on the left side. Maybe this picture could be cropped like this, so it would have the matching, you know. I don't know, maybe if you add a signature over here. Maybe if you add a signature over here, like what's a sci-fi font? This looks pretty sci-fi. I dig this piece. I think it's great. If you add a signature over here like this, I it looks like an N, you know that. I don't know why, but this looks like an N, not a V. Oh, that's great. See how now it's in balance. I saved a JPG out of now. Now let's change up the font again. This one also looks pretty sci-fi, but it doesn't need that big of an outline. It could be bigger, you know. And if we assign the year number over here also. I have no clear-cut rules where I place these signatures, but I think this is the right place in this one. Like that. Doesn't that look pretty interesting? Maybe the detective could be written with a different color. That color. Like that. Yeah, not too bad. And it was the first. I'm kind of have to get to know these pictures first. But I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty crude. Let's try this color. Okay, that won't work. Yeah, this is great. This is a great choice, you know. I think that's great, but it just doesn't show enough. We had an outline over here, like this color. A little bit, no, like that. With the outlines, you have to think about how it looks like when you weave it from the further away. It should look great even from a distance. As you see over here, it doesn't really show properly. We could also use something like that. You see, that might be actually a little bit better even, but I don't know. Let's look at the final finished pictures over here. Okay, so this is where we started. Then we got to here. Then we made this picture. Is pretty great on its own, but too simplistic. We overlaid this on top of each other. We got onto this. I think these are too simplistic, but I think this one is starting to get pretty interesting, and when we get to this one is great. I think there we started really getting somewhere, and then but it's just unbalanced and not finished yet, and that's pretty interesting. Yeah, I think that's kind of a great as a background, but you would have to have something on top of it, you know. That would work great on the background of my videos if I was in front of it, but it's not art. It's not finished on its own, I feel. Then we got over here, I think this one is great. Then we used this picture and overlaid this, and then we got over here. And we played around with the signatures and got in, yeah, and we have this one also. Yeah, I like that one. I like that one, but like, which one is better? This one is better with the yeah, I think this one is a little bit better. Yeah. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Let's keep trying.